What is up, everybody? So this is an old shoot interview. Um, I think it's one of them from Title Match Pro Wrestling. I'm not sure. It's from a while ago. Jim Duggan talking about that final year in WCW, and he talks a little bit about Team Canada and what a lame fucking thing that was. Anyway, here's Jim Duggan.
Last year with WCW, I worked 60 days. And I made more money than I did when I worked with Vince when I worked for 300 days. You know, and I got a family to support.
Were you frustrated or had any resentment towards the company at that time, or were you just looking at the
One of the
picture?
worst times I've had in the business. The young guys, I was one of the last of the old timers in WCW. Everybody else had left. Macho, Hogan, they were all gone. All the old school boys that were there were gone. Nasty Boys, everybody was gone. It was very hard for me. Guys like Ernest the Cat Miller, who really believed their own press and thought they were big stars, though they can't even get booked, a lot of them. It was a hard time.
I remember I was really into Ernest Miller, and I liked him because he was such high energy. I liked his theme music. I liked everything. And then he kind of flopped in WWE. He went to WWE. They made him an announcer, and he kind of flopped. So I guess Duggan has a point about Ernest Miller there. But I really liked Ernest Miller.
Did any of the younger guys show you respect or try to learn the old school ways from you, or?
No, not too much. No, not nearly as much as working on the independent circuit, where you got young boys that are very, very respectful and appreciate what you do. What you got happened in WCW, you had guys that were new to the business that were making big money and thought they would make big money forever, instead of realizing that Bischoff just kind of was, like the kung fu deal or whatever they did. And now, of course, like I said, they're looking for work and they're selling their homes.
Do you think any of those guys would have a chance in the old Watts territory or anything like that?
Jerry the Wall, somebody like that, might make it. Yeah, big, legitimate, tough boy. But Ernest the Cat Miller get chewed up. Dean Malenko wouldn't even be allowed in the building.
What do you think of Dean Malenko outside the ring?
I don't like Dean. I think Dean's a big shot, and I think he thinks he knows the business. And it's not like we have an open hostility, but we're just not friends.
I got you. What do you think when they started having you mess up all the time and cost Team Canada the matches? What do you think? Did you like the angle or
didn't make no difference, brother? That's right before the ship went under. How long was I with Team Canada before the company went down? A lot of folks say, "Well, about that Team Canada idea," I said, "Well, great idea. The company went under 6 months later."
Okay. I didn't like Team Canada at the time. I mean, I liked Team Canada. I didn't like him joining it. I thought that was fucking stupid. I was there too when he joined at Fall Brawl, when he turned on USA and joined Canada. I was there. I was there live, and I was like, this is stupid. Kind of hostility towards Ernest Miller, which I find funny. Ernest Miller, he had that role in that movie, The Wrestler. He played the guy in the main event, and yeah, kind of wild. But I kind of I'm gonna have to disagree with him on Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko, he's a second generation wrestler. Became a backstage producer once his career. I don't know if he's still a producer in AEW. I think that's more for health reasons rather than them getting rid of him, though, because I know that he does suffer from Parkinson's disease now. But kind of weird that he wouldn't have any props for Dean Malenko, or back then he didn't. I don't know if he probably still feels that way. I don't know. Who the heck knows? Then again, Dean Malenko might have been backstage while he was doing his run with Eugene. The interviewer asked him that question about him screwing up matches for Team Canada, but from WWE on, he was he was pushed as a goofball. If you go back and you watch Duggan's UWF stuff, he was just like a badass. not like Stone Cold Steve Austin badass, but he was just like a big guy who come to the ring and kick your ass. And that's how he was billed. That's how he was portrayed, and he was a fan favorite. And then he went to WWE, and then early on he was kind of booked the same way. But then like at some point he just kind of turned into I'm not going to say like a comedy act like Santino Marella or what Our Truth is now and what Gold Dust eventually became, but he was definitely more of an afterthought, and he definitely had some comic relief to him. And then when they had him teaming up with Eugene, when he came back later on to give Eugene a little bit of a rub, which that whole Eugene gimmick was fucking stupid from the get go. But I mean, Duggan made it work. Duggan was getting the loudest pops on Monday Night Raw during those early 2000s, early and mid 2000s with Eugene. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think of that last year of WCW? I liked that he only worked 6 days and got paid as much as he did for 300 days. Good for him on that. Too bad. Too bad that was like 20 years ago. I'm sure he'd love to be making that kind of money now. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.